Hey guys, Chris with Intelligence Studios here, and bringing you here today to just kind of show you a pretty cool trick to get a lot of punchiness and a lot of kind of richness out of a track, and it's called parallel compression or New York style compression, and I've seen it used on lots of different tracks. It works really well for getting punch out of vocals and guitars, sometimes even piano and synth. But primarily I've seen it used on drum tracks, which is what we're going to be looking at today. So what we're going to do start off is solo the drum tracks, and we're going to open up the mixer. So what I did, I have everything kind of set up already, so I'm just going to show you what I did to kind of get there. Select all of my drum tracks, and I sent them to a new bus, which is bus 16 in this case. And what that did is created an auxiliary channel strip setting right here, which I've dubbed NY compression, New York compression. So you'll see when you create that bus, it'll create that channel strip, and usually it goes with no signal feeding through when you create a bus, so you have to up that signal, so you're pushing the drum tracks to the auxiliary. And what you do is just hold Option and click. Now everything's at 0, so there's full signal being sent to that auxiliary channel strip. Now this is where kind of the magic happens. Your plugins on the channel strip here. I start off with an EQ to kind of boost up the low end a little bit. Because you want this track to sound really gritty and really kind of nasty and bassy. So I give it a lot of bass in the low end, around 70 hertz, and to kind of balance that out a little bit, I give it a 10K boost to just add a little bit of brightness to it as well, because you don't just want it sounding like mud. That's no good. And then you add the compressor to the track, and this is kind of the meat and potatoes of the whole trick here. You can mess around with all the settings here. I'll kind of explain what I did a little bit. I wanted to get a lot of grittiness. So first thing I did was set an auto gain to -12, and I pulled my threshold all the way back, because we want that needle to jump around the -20, -10 range. And kind of build off of that ratio. You can kind of mess with it. I wouldn't go too much above 3, although I don't even think you would ever have to go that high. Mine set at 1.7. I like how it sounds. Knee, I brought it all the way back. You want to keep it real soft, so it kind of just grazes over those transients. It doesn't just bash it in the face. Attack, same kind of concept. I want the attack real fast, because I don't want a lot of those transients to actually come through, because that's just going to end up, with the way that this compressor sounds, is going to sound like a lot of noise, and we don't want that. We just want kind of the grittiness and bassiness of it. Release time pretty quick, around 50 milliseconds, to just make sure the sound bounces right back once the compressor kind of pushes it out of the way. And yeah, mess around with all those settings. Obviously do your makeup gain to make up for any volume that you lose cutting all these. And I'm going to leave this open so you can kind of see it working while we play the song. Before we do that, real quick, I actually want to just mention, normally when you're setting up these buses, you would, for parallel compression, you'd want to do pre-fader. And what that does is it splits the signal from the actual drum tracks themselves and the compression. So you can kind of go back and mix individually how much compression you want on how much dry signal you want. For the purpose of this mix, I tried pre-fader and I couldn't find that sweet spot. It just wasn't there. And I switched over to post-fader, and it was working really well, actually. Kind of found exactly where I wanted to be. So we're going to go ahead and play this now. This is just drums soloed. We'll go back and do the music too involved, because you'll really hear it stand out there. But this is just drums for the time being. And what I'll do is I'll kind of A-B the compression off, so on and off. So when you see this as blue, there's no compression. It's just normal, the drums as they were recorded in. when it's gray, you'll hear the compression kick in. You'll really hear it punch through the mix. So here we go. Alright, yes, you could really hear it kind of punching through the mix when the compressor kicks in there. Now, this is where I think it really shines through, is when you add in the rest of the music. Because you'll hear when it's off, like it is now, you'll hear the drums, but they sound like they're kind of very far back in the mix. They're not really sounding the way drums should sound, and they don't have any punch or depth to them at all. And you'll notice when I turn it off, that kind of changes, and they cut through the mix, and they have the punchiness that drums should have, and the presence that the drums should have. Alright, so that is the very basic basis behind parallel or New York style compression. I might make a couple more videos later kind of diving more into what each setting does, and just so you can kind of get an idea of that, maybe dive into some more EQ stuff, see if we can make the sound even crazier. The great thing though is that it doesn't take up a lot of headroom at all. So if you're really looking for that perceived volume without taking up all the headroom in your mix, that's what you're going to want to do, is look to New York compression. So that's pretty much it for today. Thanks guys for watching, and hope you guys have a great day.